Hi everyone, welcome back to the Newsroom. I'm Chella Smith, your Middle East U.S. entertainment news on YouTube. I air on Fridays, bringing you the latest on reforms and economics based on reports put out by the Middle East news media outlets. I do this weekly review and it's based off my interest. Thank you everyone for joining me. Last week, we spoke about the stock exchange, CBI Capital, Al Rashid Bank removing sanctions. This week, we only have a little bit of news. Let's take a look at what the headlines have to offer us. Shafak News has reported that the local government in Erbil governorates, the capital of the Kurdistan region, Omad Kashna, expressed Saturday the region's desire to develop economic relations with the United States of America. In a joint press conference held in Washington, D.C. with the representatives of the region's government in America, Kashna says that after the year 2014 and the emergence of the terrorist organization ISIS, large numbers of the foreign commercial companies left the Kurdistan region, adding that the regional's government has embarked on the process for the return of foreign companies to conduct their business again. Regarding the relations between America and the region, American companies are ranked 8th in classification of foreign companies operating in the region, noting that there are 138 American companies operating. Shafak News reports the political offices of two parties of the Kurdistan Democratic Party and the Patriotic Union of the Kurdistan concluded this week with meetings they held in the region's presidency of the capital, Erbil. A joint statement issued by two political offices stating that during the meeting they discussed explicitly the relations between the two sides and the current situation in Iraq and the Kurdistan region, the findings and appropriate grounds for corporations in joint actions. The two sides confirmed that after the initiative and visit of the president of the Kurdistan region, grounds was available for dialogue, normalization, and development of relations between the two sides, work to restore confidence between the two parties, and cooperation between political parties through understanding and dialogue. The two sides agreed to continue the joint meetings between the two political bureaus of the Kurdistan Democratic Party and the PUK as a principle of joint actions, as well as to form joint committees between the two political bureaus to discuss the upcoming electoral process for Parliament of the Kurdistans. They affirm the support of both sides of the Kurdistan regional government and the legitimate institutions and the continued prohibition of media campaigning against each other. Shafak News then reported the Iraqi finance minister, Ali Alawi, expected this week that the Iraqi currency reserves would exceed $90 billion by the end of the year. Alawi said in the press statement that the Iraqi's currency reserves are expected to exceed $90 billion by the end of the year from $70 billion in April, supported by high oil prices. Shafak News then reported the Central Bank of Iraq's sales of hard currencies to the dollar during the past week amounted to nearly $1 billion. The central bank sold during the past week for the 5 days in which the auctions were open from Sunday to Thursday, $979,276,369 at a daily rate of $195,978,073, an increase of 2% from last week, in addition to cash sales amounting to 1460 dinars per dollar. Iraq Business News reports the Iraq-Britain Business Council, the IBBC, hosts the largest attendance for their spring conference at the Mansion House on the 24th of May, which was under 300 attendees, half of whom came from Iraq, which was widely considered a success. The overall theme was sustained economic growth in Iraq. There were multiple panels and roundtable sessions, including 4 panels focused on finance and energy, education and skill, and future tech. Some of those speakers included the governor of the central bank, the governor of Kirkuk, the chairman of Trade Bank of Iraq, minister of planning, the Kurdistan regional government, among many others. Shafak News reports Prime Minister Mustafa al-Kazimi considers that Iraq has become one of the most important countries in the Middle East in terms of economic growth. This came in a speech during the attendance of the launch of the National Strategy for Early Childhood Development in Iraq. Al-Kazimi says during a speech, this government came in difficult and complex circumstances with specific tasks, and it's performed them, which is establishment of fair elections. And with this, we took the initiative to create a better economic and security conditions. And the government succeeded after we were on the blink of economic collapse. Adding, international indicators and reports confirm that Iraq's economy today is faster growing and that Iraq has become one of the most important countries in the Middle East in terms of economic growth. Al-Kazimi adds, we have succeeded in overcoming many challenges according to the capabilities available to us, while others require longer work and greater cooperation between state institutions, political blocs, and all parties of Iraq's society. Shafak News reports the meeting, which was held in the presence of the president of the Kurdistan region in Erbil on Thursday between representatives of the Kurdish political forces and the parties and representatives of the Secretary General of the United Nations in Iraq, Janine Plasheret, providing the opportunity for discussion and exchange of views of the future of the electoral process in the region scheduled to take place in October. A statement issued by the United Nations in Iraq reports that the meeting was held in the United Nations office in Erbil at the invitation of the United Nations envoy Janine Plasheret to discuss the electoral process in the Kurdistan region. According to the statement, Plasheret expressed her thanks to the Kurdish parties participating in the meeting and urges them to continue and intensify efforts to address the multiple challenges facing the Kurdistan region. The meeting, which was attended by the delegations of the Kurdistan Democratic Party, the security of political bureaus of the party, and delegations of the Patriotic Union of the Kurdistans, the general coordinator of the Change Movement, head of delegations of the Kurdistan Islamic Union, head of the Kurdistan Justice Delegations, head of the delegations of the New Generation Movement. Earlier, the UNAMI called the Kurdish parties to hold a meeting to discuss the upcoming parliamentary elections in the Kurdistan region. Shafak News then reports the president of the Kurdistan region, Narchirvan Barzani, welcomes the call of the United Security Council, Erbil and Baghdad to engage in regular dialogue to resolve the differences and outstanding issues between them, saying, I thank the United Nations Security Council for extending the mandate of the United Nations Assistant Mission for Iraq. President Barzani said in a tweet posted on social media networking sites, he welcomes the Security Council call, Baghdad and Erbil, to engage in regular and orderly dialogue to resolve outstanding issues in accordance with the Constitution of Iraq. The UN Security Council extended the mandate of United Nations Assistant Mission for Iraq for an additional year until May 31, 2023, while retaining its basic tasks. By unanimously adopting Resolution 2631, 2022, the Council requested the Special Representative, the Secretary General for Iraq, and the United Nations Assistant Mission for Iraq to prioritize providing advice, support, and assistance to the government and people of Iraq on promoting exclusive political dialogue and national and community reconciliation, taking into account civil society's inputs and full, equal, meaningful participation of women. The Council members also request that the special representatives and the UNAMI to provide further advice, support, and assistance to the government of Iraq in facilitating regional dialogue and cooperation, including on issues of border security, energy, trade, environment, water, resilience, infrastructure, health, public, refugees, and the negative impacts of climate change, particularly those that contribute to desertification and drought. The Council also requested the mission to address gender mainstreaming as a cross-cutting issue throughout its mandates, to advise and assist the government of Iraq in assuring the full, equal, meaningful participation, inclusion, and representation of women of all levels of decision-making, including in the context of elections and government formation, and to promote empowerment economics for women. In addition, the special representative of the UNAMI are mandated to support the government of Iraq and the Kurdistan regional government to work together and engage in regular and structured dialogue to resolve outstanding issues, including security allocations, budgetary arrangements, management of Iraqi oil and gas resources, and the implementation of existing agreements, including the Sinjar Agreement 2020. And according to the state.gov, the U.S. State Department issues a statement regarding Iraq's parliament approval of the Iraqi parliament's anti-Israel normalization law, saying that the United States is deeply disturbed by Iraqi's parliament's passage of legislation that criminalizes normalization of relations with Israel, in addition to jeopardizing freedom of expression and promoting an environment of anti-Semitism. The legislation stands in stark contrast to progress Iraq's neighbors have made by building bridges and normalization of relations with Israel, creating new opportunities for people throughout the region. The United States will continue to be strong and unwavering partners in support of Israel, including as it expands ties with its neighbors in pursuit of greater peace and prosperity for all, per the U.S. State Department spokesman Ned Price. You've been watching Newsroom Weekly Review. I'm Chella Smith, your Middle East U.S. entertainment news on reforms and economics, bringing you the latest Dinar news without having to keep up with all the different outlets. I'm here on YouTube every Friday, so don't forget to subscribe. And if you like my content, give me a thumbs up. Shout out to Currency365 for his continued support. If you want to learn about stocks and cryptos while waiting on the dinar to revalue, you can join him and his crew for the most recent updates. You can find him on Patreon. I've been working in the garden all week, and over the last few days we've been blessed with lots of rain. So with that being said, that's all I have for this week's news. Everyone have a wonderful weekend and take care. Make sure you join us Fridays 4 p.m. with Newsroom Updates with Chella Smith Entertainment News.